Nobody wants to be compared to anybody. Where you're at, that's good for you, baby. Wait a dang on minute. I cannot like a married man. The banter between these two was top tier. Like I said earlier, days later, I was thinking about freaking Ahmad and Aaliyah. Let's run this book up. Hello chapter bestie, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know, my name is Angie. I am primarily a romance and psychological thriller girly. I love a good romance.
That's my pleasure.
Obviously, we're here to talk about a romance book, Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. Let me tell you, I read this book and I was still thinking about this book days later. That's how good this book was to me. It hit on so many different topics, from grief to therapy to body image. The book really did it for me. So I'm going to jump into a spoiler-free reading review of the Curvy Girl Summer, because although the Goodreads rating is like a 4.4, I need us to run this book up. I'm not seeing enough YouTube videos about Curvy Girl Summer. Like, I need us to run this up. So that's why I decided I'm doing a whole separate video. Of course, I'll do my July recap, but I'm doing a whole separate video for Curvy Girl Summer, because Curvy Girl Summer gave me all the vibes that I needed, that I didn't know I needed. So Curvy Girl Summer follows Aaliyah. And let me say this, her family has A names. Her mom has an A name, her uncle, her sister, and even the male main character has an A name. My family has A names. So y'all know I was super duper connected to that just off that instance right there. So that was boom, like I'm sucked in, because now I can really connect with you on a deeper level. Well, I wouldn't say A names is deep, but you know, if that's your family vibe and you see somebody else with the same vibe, you kind of connect with them. So I was definitely connected and hooked when I found that out. But anyway, it follows Aaliyah. Aaliyah is about to turn 30 years old, and she's planning this party for herself for her 30th birthday. She wants a date. She wants a real man. She wants a real relationship. She doesn't want these short-term hookups or these men that are really boys. Like, she wants a real relationship, which obviously anybody in their 30s can that's not in a marriage or wants to be in a marriage, you can relate to that. Like, my biological clock is ticking. I want a marriage. Like, I just want all the things now that I hit 30. And so she's at that stage. And not only is this female main character Aaliyah, she dealing with relationships and wanting, you know, a good relationship and wanting to have that connection to a man, she's dealing with grief. She's dealing with body image, and I'm gonna break those things down in a minute. She's dealing with comparison, right? So she's going through all these different things that any woman can connect to. Any woman that has suffered with body image, whether you are of a larger size or whether you are super small, because you know, smaller people suffer with body image too. Everybody little does not want to be little, just like everybody big may not want to be big. So dealing with all that, it was such a good read, because you could really connect to the female main character. I'm gonna back up a little bit, and then we're gonna get back to those 3 points that I just talked about. So Aaliyah, she's 30 years old. She is trying to find a real person to go out with. So her best friends Nina and Jasmine, they are some dope characters too. Nina especially. Nina convinces Aaliyah to get on a dating website, Tinderfish. So she's apprehensive at first, but Nina's like, listen, you're not going to find somebody if you don't put yourself out there, and if you're not going to go anywhere. Like, you have to put yourself out there to meet somebody. Lesson number 1 in the book, right? You have to put yourself out. You can't say you want a man and then don't go out and do something to put yourself in the atmosphere to get the man. So she ends up getting on the dating website. So her first date was actually not through the dating website. It was through a coworker. So she's like, I'm going to go to Onyx. It's a bar across from where she lives, to meet this person. At the bar, she meets I would say he would be the male main character, even though it's not dual point of view. She meets Ahmad. And Ahmad is the owner's son. So he's just bartends there to help out his dad or whatever the case may be. And his sister, Another A name, Asia. His sister works there too. So she meets Ahmad, and something ends up happening on the first date, and he kind of tells her like, listen, if you're on Tenderfish, make all your first dates here so I can have your back. I can kind of be like your wingman. So that's what she ends up doing. Date after date after date. Her first date is always at this bar, Onyx. Even when her and Ahmad have a little falling out. Her first date is always at Onyx. Throughout the duration of her dating these other men, her and Ahmad, Aaliyah and Ahmad, build a genuine friendship. They build... And that's why I would say the trope for this would be friends to lovers, because they definitely built a strong friendship throughout this book. The banter between these two was top tier. How they showed up for each other was top tier. They were genuine friends before anything ever happened. And obviously, they started falling for each other. Ahmad ended up having an issue with every single person Aaliyah went out with. And I think he knew earlier on in the book that he really liked her, because he was showing signs that he liked her. She just wasn't catching them because of, you know, just insecurities that she may have been having going on. That's what I thought about it. I thought that it was her insecurities, because you could definitely tell that he liked her. I mean, he had an issue with everybody that she went on a date with. Like, come on now. If that isn't the ultimate sign that I like you, yeah. So, the catch, though, the gag is, Ahmad is wearing a wedding band.
What?
He's wearing a wedding band. Now, this is spoiler free. I want you to go get the book so you can understand why Ahmad is all up into this girl and he has the wedding ring on. If you've dealt with infidelity, it's not a trigger. Just go get the book, and I promise you it's not going to trigger any feelings or emotions or make you want to go summer walk or somebody. Like, I promise you it's not going to give you that. But he is wearing a wedding band, so she naturally thinks that he's married, and she starts falling for him, and she's like, wait a dang on minute, I cannot like a married man. Like, I cannot, there's no way my body is reacting to this married man like it is. And so over time, like I said, they start showing up for each other, like as really true friends. The banter, I mean, just everything about their relationship was so believable to me, to the point where, like I said earlier, days later I was thinking about freaking Ahmad and Aaliyah. Like, they were on my mind. Like, they were real people. I knew them from around the block. I love them. I loved the characters. My reading journal always asked me to pick a favorite character. I can't pick between them two. They were just great. They were great to the people that were around them. They were great to each other. They were just great individuals. Very, very likable characters. And I love when characters in books are likable. So that's the synopsis of it. Things unravel from there. I'm not going to go into too much detail, because sometimes I don't know where to draw the line with spoiler free and spoiler. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But I will say, getting back to these three things, important things that this book touched on: grief, body image, and comparison. Her family is comparing her to her sister Anaya, and where Anaya was when Anaya was 30 years old, because she was married, she was pregnant. And her family is like, your biological clock is ticking. Like, you need to get on. let's you know, get yourself wed. And they're doing a lot of comparisons to her and her sister. And we know comparison is the thief of joy. Nobody wants to be compared to anybody, because it can put things into your mind. And we know that all of us move at different paces. Where you're at, that's good for you, baby. But where I'm at is also good for me too. Just because you may think I'm behind you doesn't mean that I'm really behind you. I'm on the path that God chose for me. And so I love that concept of, and that lesson for us to learn in this book is, don't even compare yourself to people. Then we have body image. She's a big girl. I think the book says she was a size 20. And she's constantly, Aaliyah was confident in her big girl body. Okay, they said she dressed nice in the book. She was always getting compliments for the way that she looked. And what I got out of this is, I'm a size 14. Just because you're a size bigger, you're not a size 4, 2, or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean you have to be dressed sloppy, doesn't mean that you have to look sloppy. You could still be put together, look beautiful as a big woman, and Aaliyah showcased that. But she always had other people announcing that she was big, or you need to lose weight, or you're not going to get a man. Her uncle was telling her you're not going to get a man being big like this. You're not going to keep a man being big like this. Even some of the dates that she went on, one, you know, they brought up body image where she was secure in it. And so I think that was something for all of us to be aware of, is you can be big and still be presentable and still be loved and still be all of the things. Then it touched on grief, right? So grief was a thing in this book for pretty much all the characters in the book. Like, you know, like pretty much all the characters, everybody that, with the exception of maybe Nina, everybody was dealing with some kind of sickness or grief within the family. And I always think grief is important, especially now for me, because I'm still grieving the loss of my great grandmother. Her birthday was actually yesterday. I'm filming this July 24th. Her birthday was July 23rd. And so I'm still in the thick of it, kind of. And so when I read a book about grief, I understand these characters and the transitions that they're going through, because I'm still transitioning myself. So it touched on, so you wouldn't think, when I saw the cover of the book, I wasn't thinking like I'm going to get something powerful out of this book. I thought it was just a cute rom-com, which it was. But I didn't think I would get so much depth out of this book as well. So yes, you definitely want to pick up this book. You definitely should read this book. It is a summer banger. Matter of fact, read it in the fall, read it in the winter, whatever. Like, just read the book, because it's so good. The banter between the Ahmad and Aaliyah was just excellent. Everybody around them could see that they were in love with each other, but you know, they just had personal things that they were dealing with to kind of keep them from each other. And it's just, I love the way that they were able to joke around with each other. Like, I loved every freaking thing about this book. Definitely 5 stars. I hope you guys check it out. Let's run this book up, show them that Curvy Girl Summer is that book. Alright guys, alright, so I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Chapter bestie, if you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe, share this with a friend, let me know your thoughts if you've read Curvy Girl Summer, and let me know if you're going to read it. I'll see you guys all in the next video.